everyone, this is Tim of the Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talking entertainment. The Dallas debacle is getting further from memory. It's Tuesday after the game. Thank goodness. Of course, the task does not get any easier in reference to the quarterback carousel we have coming up over the next few weeks. We got Matthew Stafford and the Rams. This should be extremely interesting, and we are the walking wounded right now. It's not good. Saquon Barkley's out a minimum 2 to 4 weeks. The smooth sounds of Kenny G looks like he is going to be out at least a week with the hyperextended knee. Daniel Jones, of course, with the concussion, is probably going to be out for multiple weeks. You don't get your bell rung like that and get up like that and fall down like that unless you have a pretty serious concussion. And I don't care how tough you are, it doesn't matter. I had 11 known concussions, and I played with 11 known concussions because back in the 80s and 90s, when you got hit like that, it was just referred to as getting your bell rung. And literally, you would just hear ringing in your ears for weeks afterwards. But now we know what that actually is. So they're going to err on the side of caution, with your franchise quarterback. That's just the way it is. The thing is, though, with Daniel Jones, and like I said, you never want to kick anyone when they're down, because I don't think he's down. He led with his head. And if you go on the Twitter sphere, Carl Banks was on WFAN Sports Radio the other day, and he basically, Jabril Cox, they were saying that he was gloating by his post, and Banks basically came out and said he's not. He put something stupid on Instagram because that's the hyperbolic chamber that we live in right now with social media. But he wasn't gloating. He wasn't saying he was happy about it. He wasn't saying any of that, and and then of course all the neophytes on Twitter and all the creators, basically attacked Carl. And again, these are people that never played the game. These are people that never strapped it on and played, and they don't know the nuances of NFL locker rooms. And they're going after what some people should say should be a Hall of Fame linebacker, and I agree with 100%. I did a video about it. And they're attacking him for having a point of view. And again, it's his point of view. And he made a very succinct point that no other NFL player was responding to what he said. It was only the fools on Twitter. I thought that was very apropos. So kudos to you, Carl Banks. I wanted to talk about Daniel Jones, though. And I've said this a million times. You want to lead on the field, you don't want to lead with your head. And I know that's the title of the video, and I know a lot of people are going to be upset saying, well, he is a leader on the field. He does do this. You don't know what you're talking about. And it's going to be all the Daniel Jones lovers, and that's fine, but that's not what I'm talking about. You can't be on the field if you're injured. You can't play and help your team if you continuously put yourselves in harm's way. You could say whatever you want about Cox's tackle, but Daniel Jones, if you watch the video, was not a dirty hit. He led with his head. You don't do that. You also do not do that if you're the franchise quarterback. And that's what I'm saying. You lead by example, not with your head. Because the example is, if you are not on the field to command your troops, there's nothing you can do. You're useless to the team. Especially as now a third-year quarterback who's probably going to miss multiple games again going into into his third season. The reliability factor for Daniel Jones is not there. You could talk about all the immense talent and his big 400-yard game and how that's going to be his career. Yeah, I remember during free agency when I said don't give Leonard Williams more than $11 million because he'll get anywhere between 3.5 to 5 sacks, because you can't discount the first 5 seasons and then go with the one good season and say this is what his career arc is going to be. No, usually the first 5 is an indication of what you're going to be. And having one good game and one good year does not mean you are deserving of that money. So the question is Daniel Jones going to be deserving of a year 4? Because we still don't know his potential because of the fact that, A, he keeps getting hurt and he's been wildly inconsistent. And you could bash me for saying this. I really don't care because it's the truth. Like it or not, good or bad or indifferent, if you're not on the field to perform and to show your wares and to show you have a consistent ability, not flashes, you're no use to the franchise. And I love it because all the people on Twitter and everyone else was like, you have to run Daniel Jones more. You have to use his legs and use his skills. So what does Jason Garrett do? He calls a couple design runs for Daniel Jones. He gets hurt. And the first thing is, it's all Jason Garrett's fault. He shouldn't be running him. Okay, well, you know what, guys? I heard a couple weeks back how we're not using Daniel Jones' skills as a runner. I love it because if you went on Twitter like 2 weeks ago, is Daniel Jones needs to be more of a read option quarterback, which I thought was some of the stupidest things that I've ever seen. And then people are like, well, they're trying to make him a pocket passer. Yeah, because he is a pocket passer. Daniel Jones, I said this a million times, does not have the acceleration or the escapability of like a Kyler Murray, of a Lamar Jackson, of Malik Willis. He just doesn't have it. And that's not a slight against him. How many players in the league have that? He's a downhill runner. Once you get him started and once you get him rolling, that's when he picks up speed. That's when he has the speed of the cheetah. But the problem is you got to get that car started. And I've said this a million times. I owned an old Chevy. I love the car. But unless you had that sucker going downhill to get it rolling, it didn't go very fast until it built up the initial inertia and created some speed. And that's Daniel Jones. And I've also said, and it's not a slight against Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones is not a Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson because he doesn't create his own opportunities. I've said this a million times. Daniel Jones is like a point guard who cannot create his own shots. He needs to be more of a drop back passer who occasionally will run. And I would eliminate the occasionally will run by design because as we've seen in the last 3 seasons, bad things happen. You're in year 3. You should not be leading with your head to try to get a touchdown. You shouldn't. Because you know what? I've said it before. You fight for another down. That's what you do. You fight for the next down. And you can't fight for the next down if you're not on the field. And again, this is not kicking somebody when they're down. This is not kicking someone when they're injured. That's why I didn't do this video yesterday, because I really didn't want to hear that shit. I really didn't want to hear it. But what it is if you cannot stay on the field, you are no use to the team as the franchise quarterback. And you could say he's just, I love when, and then some people are like, well, he's injury prone. He's not injury prone. He just puts himself in situations where he gets hurt. And then we're going to hear, well, it was the collapse of the offensive line and Nate Solder and this that caused this to happen. That was a designed run. He didn't get hurt on a sack. He didn't get hurt being flushed out of the pocket. He got hurt on a design run, which so many fans were clamoring for him to do 2 weeks ago. But now all of a sudden that he got hurt and did it, it's all Jason Garrett's fault. I am literally seeing a pattern here. Now, I'm not a Jason Garrett defendist. I'm not a loyalist. But I see when someone is a scapegoat. And Jason Garrett is the perfect scapegoat for Giant fans. They bitch and scream at him because of the fact that he's not running Daniel Jones. He runs Daniel Jones gets hurt. Then they bitch and scream at him, why the hell is he running Daniel Jones and putting him in that situation to get himself hurt? Which one is it, guys? You got to make up your mind. I am tired of the flip-floppiness of people, of fans. Pick an opinion, right or wrong, good or bad or indifferent. You know what this show is? And I laugh because we did a live stream and people are like, you could have so many more subscribers if you were just so everything is awesome. And just talk about how everything is so wonderful. Listen, I say when things are good. I say when things are bad. I said, it's funny. I talked about Kadarius Toney. I talked about how he had a career game. I talked about how he had a career game that some professionals wait their entire NFL career to have, and he had it within his rookie season. I talked about the talent. I talked about his ability to move. I talked about how he was opening up the field. I talked about all this stuff. I spent 15 seconds mentioning that you don't throw a punch. Defending your teammate or not, you don't throw a punch. And that's Tim with Online Big Blues Music. Hold on, we got to cut that music out. I don't know what happened there. Technical difficulty. But I talked about literally for 15 seconds how you don't throw a punch. And how usually they've taught you since Pop Warner, even if the motion gets better of you, the last person that throws the punch is always the person that gets flagged. And all anyone heard was I was bashing Kadarius Toney. And then I love the people that are such Joe Judge lovers, were Joe Judge lovers. Now they're kind of falling off the bandwagon because he was yelling at Toney to get off the field. And they're like, well, he's losing the locker room because he's yelling at him because he was just standing up for his player. No, he was yelling at him because it was a lack of discipline and stupidity. That's why he was yelling at him. So now do you hate Joe Judge because he yelled at Kadarius Toney after he had a career game? So now we should fire Joe Judge and make Kadarius Toney the head coach and the quarterback and everything else? One game does not a career make. Ask Timmy Smith. I'll let the younger fans look up who Timmy Smith is, running back Washington. Let's see people do things consistently over a period of time, not just for a blip on the radar. I have never been a Joe Judge fan. I've said that a million times. But you know what? He was right. He should yell at his player for being a boneheaded player. Same thing with Will Hernandez, man. Will Hernandez he keeps getting in the pile and shoving people. And I'm not one of these people like, oh, he's defending his teammates. I love it. And these are all people that never played the game either that say these stupid statements. If for someone getting pushed and you go and start pushing someone else or swinging at people, that's not defending your teammate. If someone is attacking your teammate or swinging a helmet at them or trying to hit them or choking them or something, that's defending your teammate. Get it right, people. Let's just get it right. And I'm not saying the people that subscribe to this channel, because the people that subscribe to this channel are smart. A, because they subscribe to this channel, and because I would say 99.5% of them know football. And I think that's what we need to understand. We have to get ready for the Rams. We have to move forward, move on. Let's get Mike Glennon ready. Get Cam Newton. Get him on speed dial. And let's just see what we can do. We're going to talk about the Rams game a little bit. We got a couple other videos coming up on Wednesday and Thursday. And again, this is Tim of the Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, subscribe, and if you think it means, that'd be awesome.